There she saw the torn up bagel. She started screaming about wasting food and her money. I recall hot tears running down my face and looking over at Amber, who watched with glee as her 9-year-old sister ate food out of the trash can. That is so horrible. There's so much horrible. Good morning, my witches and warlocks. Sick and tired here. And today we have another viewer submission. If you would like to submit your own story of your bad parents, narcissistic parents, childhood trauma, bad mother-in-laws, really anything you'd like to get off your chest, you can email me at samanthafisher1984@gmail.com and we will discuss. We only have one submission today. It's kind of a long story, but oh, it is a doozy. Grab your coffee, your tea, your hot cocoa, sit back, get comfortable, because we're going on a roller coaster ride. I actually can't ride roller coasters anymore because of my severe vertigo and motion sickness. I miss it. Hello, sick and tired. Hello, my love. Your YouTube channel popped up to me around Thanksgiving, and I really enjoy your in-parent content. It makes me feel less alone in this world, and you've given me the courage to post a bit of my story on Reddit. I have a lot of anxiety about posting online. I don't know why. I think it's because I'm very much a loner and don't have anyone to talk to in my life about these things. So putting myself out there is terrifying. It is terrifying. I always say how brave you guys are for doing it. You're very brave. On to my story. If you never read this, that's okay. Of course I'll read it. It honestly just feels good to feel like I'm talking to someone who understands. I've had therapists over the years and I'm currently working with a great one right now. Yet a therapist isn't a replacement for a friendly shoulder to cry on. I had a bad childhood experience brought up yesterday and it flooded my mind with all these memories, and I desperately need an outlet. I am a 29-year-old woman. I have 4 siblings ranging in ages between 35 and 25. For the sake of simplicity, I will only be discussing by name 2 of my sisters, Amber, 32, and Emily, 25, although I'll be speaking more about Amber. Emily didn't do anything except be the favorite baby of my mom. I'll be referring to myself as OP when needed. I'm sorry if I ramble or don't make a cohesive story. Here we go. This all started yesterday. Yesterday was my niece's birthday, so my mom threw a little birthday lunch for her. I helped decorate the Frozen theme party. Ooh, we love Frozen. And even dressed my dog for the occasion. I haven't been doing so well mentally lately after Hurricane Helene and stress from work, but I was determined to try and have a good day and show up for my niece. We all sat down for lunch, hot dogs and hamburgers. The conversation is light and fun, and honestly, it was the most I participated in conversation with them since the hurricane. I was proud of myself. My nephew suddenly dropped his hot dog onto the floor. That's not a big deal. We'll get you a new hot dog. As his dad is helping him prepare a new hot dog, Amber, his mother, goes,
"We can make you eat it out of the trash like we did OP."
Excuse me? I knew exactly what childhood story she's referring to, and it's one I've repeatedly told them in the past that I do not like being told. However, Amber is a jerk. After a lot of reflection last night, I came to that conclusion. So clearly, I'm upset that she'd bring up that degrading story once more. I whip my head around and give her a hard glare and say, oh yeah, my therapist loved that story. I think loved is supposed to be like, loved. Oh yeah, my therapist loved that story. In the most harsh and sarcastic tone I could muster, trying to get the hint across without causing a scene. My mother starts laughing and tells the table the story. What's the story? Allow me to first paint you a picture as I get into the story. Okay, I'm ready. When I was 9 years old, my dad lost his job and they had to sell the family home and move us in with my aunt's family in a brand new state, 14 hours away. My aunt lives in one of those god-awful McMansions. McMansion? What is McMansion? Is that like a McMuffin? I like McMuffins. Really wish I had a McMuffin. 9 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, 2 kitchens, 3 stories. Oh my gosh, 2 kitchens? 9 bedrooms? What is this, Croft Manor? So plenty of room for both families. Moving to that house turned into 4 years of abuse and torment for me. It was the McMansion of horror, if you will. My aunt had a lot of undiagnosed mental issues. She's very medicated today. However, back in 2004, mental health wasn't talked about like it is today. She often took her anger out on me. I was the fat kid. I took after my dad's side, unlike my siblings and cousins who took over mom/aunt's side. I was stubborn, but I wasn't a bad kid. I never hurt anyone. I never did anything on purpose to harm anyone or anything. I know how you feel with that one. So me and my brother got all of my mom's genes. She's just a white lady from Indiana. So we're short and stocky, but for him, he looks good because he's a guy. He carries it really well. And instead, I'm just really pale and chubby. And my sisters, of course, they got all my dad's side, which was all of the Mexican. So they have like the dark skin and the beautiful eyes. But then my one sister has long blonde hair and the other one had the really dark brown hair. They were always real slender and graceful. They look like Victoria's Secret models, and I'm over here like freaking Melissa McCarthy. Yet my aunt took my differences as defiance and took her anger out on me. My first memory of living in that home as a 9-year-old was my aunt dragging me down the hallway by my hair, throwing me down on the floor in front of my siblings and cousins, and beating me relentlessly with a belt as she screamed at me about God and obedience. My parents were out of the home during this attack. They go hand in hand, don't they? The attack was the beginning of the next 9 years of mental and physical abuse. So now picture a beaten, confused, overstimulated, depressed, and lonely 9-year-old child. I spent a lot of time alone or clinging to Amber as my only companion. Do your parents know about this? One morning, I went to make myself breakfast. My mom would buy these cheap bagels from Aldi's. In 2004, I bet it was like 79 cents per sleeve of 6 bagels. I bet you're right. I recall being very upset and overstimulated that morning. I was 9, so obviously I don't remember a lot. However, after some reflection, I have a good bet it had to do with Amber instigating me. I went to peel open the pre-cut bagel and the bagel tore. And in that moment, my 9-year-old self was so distraught and upset over the fact that not even the bagel was going my way. I threw the bagel in the trash can and went to try again and start over. I remember not saying anything to anyone as I did this. Amber saw what I did and immediately ran to our mother to tattle about me throwing away food. She returned with my mom in an absolute rampage before smugly sitting back down with our cousin. Our mom immediately started yelling and pulling me by my hair. What's with the hair, man? And demanding to see what I had done. She threatened to hit me until, in tears and hyperventilating, I opened the trash can. There she saw the torn up bagel. She started screaming about wasting food and her money. She threatened to beat me with a belt until I ate the bagel out of the trash. I recall hot tears running down my face and looking over at Amber, who watched with glee as her 9-year-old sister ate food out of the trash can. Oh my gosh, that is so horrible. There's so much horrible. I cannot believe your mother would make you eat food out of the trash. It's just a bagel. I get being frustrated. You threw away something that wasn't messed up. And as a mom, I get it. Oh, why'd you throw that away? That was perfectly fine. You know, if you would have just asked for my help, I could have helped you. But it doesn't sound like you had anybody that really wanted to help you anyway. And also, what's up with your sister? Why is she so mean? 20 years later, and this is Amber's and my mom's favorite story to laugh about. Let's snap back to yesterday at the birthday lunch. After Amber brought it up and my mom recalled the story to the table, I lost my appetite and immediately withdrew. I couldn't believe that even though I voiced multiple times that I do not like that story being told, they still decided to disrespect me and tell it. And the way my mom tells the story, she tells it as if she's talking about how she got her toddler to eat broccoli. She lacks so much self-awareness that she doesn't realize that she literally made a 9-year-old child eat out of the trash can. Like many adults my age, I have to live with my parents currently, so I fought the urge to go downstairs to my bedroom after the mood was soiled by Amber. I wanted to at least watch my niece open her gifts. She turned 4 and finally has interests I can buy gifts for. I went and threw away my food, losing all interest in eating. My mom saw me throw my plate away, and I was so tempted to lash out at her and say, "You want to force me to eat that out of the trash too?" That's totally what I was thinking. I didn't, but oh, I so wanted to. Oh, I so wanted you to too. Instead, I kept my mouth shut and sat back down. Mom then asks me, "What's wrong?" I decide to answer by saying, "Some stories you find funny are traumatic to others." Amber heard me say that, and they both gave a sad excuse of an apology. I say, "I've asked you to multiple times in the past to not bring up these stories, and yet you keep doing it. If you were sorry, you wouldn't have brought it up in the first place." That's when Amber starts screaming at me. I don't want to type in all caps. Oh, go ahead, it's fine. But just imagine screaming,
Well, I'm sorry, but after the year I've had, I don't remember everything, okay? I've had a shit year and I'm so sorry your feelings are hurt.
I get the feeling she's not sorry at all. Amber has had a tough year. Her husband cheated on her. Don't feel too bad for her. Yes, cheating is bad. There is no excuse for cheating, but her financial abuse towards her husband is really bad. She doesn't work and takes control over all the money. He's not allowed to touch the money he earns. She goes on 4 vacations a year and leaves him at home to work. I give her sympathy, of course, and I was there for her during the initial meltdown. Yet, as I get older, I try to look at these things with both empathy but also logic. If my partner took my paycheck and didn't allow me access to it, I'd eventually break down too. Again, not an excuse. I just don't want anyone thinking Amber was this perfect wife, just as brother-in-law is not a perfect husband. Oh, there's a lot going on there. We also live in an area affected badly by Hurricane Helene. A tree fell on her roof and they're in the process of getting their roof fixed. So I understand she has had a hard year. It's why for the last year I haven't spoken to anyone in my family about my own issues, because I know what I have going on isn't as bad as what Amber is dealing with. But that still doesn't excuse what she did to me at the lunch table. I ended up leaving the room as soon as my niece opened her gifts. I closed myself off from the world and cried for about 6 hours as I lamented on my childhood, a childhood that I've desperately tried to forget, a childhood that led me to a suicide attempt in my early 20s and eventually a 5-year stint of alcoholism, 8 months sober. Very, very good. As the events of the 4 years in the McMansion of hell played through my mind, I realized a lot of things. My mom took out a lot of her anger on me. Out of all my siblings, I was beat the most out of all of them. She never made an effort with me, and I know that's why now she's desperately trying to find some connection with me. My mom made it known that I was not her favorite. Of course, she never said the words, but her actions made me know around the age of 10 that I wasn't liked. Last night, I angrily went upstairs with Amber's Christmas present. It just came from Amazon. I didn't bother opening the box. I wrote her name on it and threw it under the tree. My mom goes, "What's wrong?" In a fit of pent-up anger and resentment, I randomly started shouting, "I'll just go eat out of the trash because that's all I'm worth to you people. Trash. I get beat by my family and I eat trash." Mom gets quiet and responds,
"It was one time." "It's only one time. Why are you making such a big deal of it? I only made you eat garbage one time."
I walk away, but not before shouting, "I find it pretty freaking weird and sick that you find it funny that you made a 9-year-old child eat out of the trash can." I went to my room and cried. I watched some of your videos and got brave enough to tell my stories. Oh, when we moved to the McMansion, Amber and I were homeschooled and the rest all went to public school. Our mom pulled Amber out of school in 4th grade because she was struggling with her reading. She was already held back once, and mom didn't want her to be held back again. She then pulled me out of school in the 3rd grade so Amber would have a friend. This caused me to have 0 friends and rely on Amber as my sole friend. Amber made friends easily through the church and neighborhood, while I personally feel like I became socially delayed and struggled to connect with the other kids. This came to a head when my mom, with what little money they had at the time, would throw parties for Amber and Emily. Amber would get shopping sprees, lunches with friends, etc. I started to take notice around my 13th birthday. It was Emily's 7th birthday the month prior, and mom threw a Build-A-Bear birthday party for her entire class. Her entire class? I was jealous, as all my birthday parties from 9 years and on have gone like this. Mom would get some hot and ready pizza and bake a sheet cake. Our cousins would come over, we'd eat, blow out the candles, and I'd open a sad little stack of gifts. Not that gifts are important, yet when you see your siblings getting tons of gifts, when you're a child, you take notice of gifts that weren't anything I really wanted or liked. Vague gifts, I call them. You like dogs? Here's a book about dogs that you won't ever read. Then everyone would scatter. My cousins and siblings would all run to one of the boys' rooms to play GameCube and constantly slam the door in my face. A few times my fingers getting slammed in the door because I was so desperate to join them. Oh my gosh. Why is everybody so mean to you and your family? It's like everyone. So after my sister's Build-A-Bear party, I too really wanted my mom to also buy me a Build-A-Bear. I asked her after my sister's party was over if she'd take me to get a Build-A-Bear for my 13th birthday. She told me,
"You have no friends. Who would we take?"
Wow, thanks mom. I said, "You can just take me. It'll be cheaper." I tried to reason. She rolled her eyes and I kept pestering her for a month about wanting a Build-A-Bear for my birthday. She finally said,
"I'll take you to Build-A-Bear, but you have to pay for it yourself."
"You have to pay for it yourself? You're like 12. Pay for it how?" Oh my gosh. I agreed, thinking she wasn't serious. Yeah. Or maybe she'd at least buy me an accessory for the bear. So the day of my 13th birthday, she takes me to Build-A-Bear. I pick out a husky plushie. I show my mom some outfits and accessories, sort of hinting to her that she could buy the outfit as my gift. Nope. No, she couldn't. I couldn't afford an outfit.
It's just a baby.
I ended up just getting my husky and a collar for it. I remember going home and crying because I wasn't even worth a $10 Build-A-Bear shirt to my own mom. Yeah, after she did a Build-A-Bear for your sister's whole class. That night at the party, I was so depressed. I opened my gifts and that was that. My siblings and cousins scattered upstairs before I could follow them. I sat in the living room so freaking depressed, looking at my sad gifts. Mom stops talking to her sisters to ask me what's wrong. At 13, I didn't have a way to express exactly how I felt. I felt like if I told the truth, I'd be beat for being ungrateful. I remember saying something alluding to how sad my parties always are and how I feel like they are just going through the motions because they have to, not because they want to. Of course, in a 13-year-old way. She didn't care or didn't understand, I don't know, or didn't care to understand. My mom constantly, indirectly and directly commenting on my body and looks. I was an ugly duckling. Puberty did me a lot of favors, but her other daughters were beautiful. They took after her side of the family. Meanwhile, I took after my dad's. On my dad's side, they have the body type that is tall and husky. It wasn't until a few years ago I realized how much I actually love my body type. I'm 5'8", 190 pounds. Yes, I can gain fat very easily if I'm not careful. However, I can gain muscle extremely easily, and I'm stronger than most women and even some men naturally. I'd be a great candidate for powerlifting if I so choose. Recently, I joked to a customer about me being fat, and she said, "You're not fat. You look built like a lumberjack, strong." And I really appreciated that. And that's how I look at my body now. Yet she was constantly mean to me about my weight gain when I was a child. And looking back, I wasn't even that fat by today's standards. My heaviest was 212 at age 16. That's when my mom put me in fat camp. Yeah, our moms were always obsessed with our bodies. At the time, I didn't understand it was fat camp. I was an extremely naive child/young adult. I wanted so desperately to please my family that I never toed out of line or questioned anything they did. I just wanted them to love and accept me. I now understand I had an eating disorder that began when we moved into the McMansion. I was constantly screamed at about food. If food went missing, even though there were 10 people living in that home and a constant slew of other aunts' families coming and going, I was to blame because I was the fat one. My aunt used to scream at me constantly when she misplaced her sweet treats. She once pushed me down the stairs in a fit of anger and would throw things at my head over food. Like, what? So does your mom know that your aunt was doing this stuff to you? I had a horrible relationship with food. Sounds like your aunt has an even worse one. I'd sneak food, hide food. I was a class A binge eater. I was constantly shamed when I was caught sneaking food.
What's in your pockets?
Became a fearful phrase for me. I'd eat in the bathroom and flush the trash. I eventually grew out of it when we moved out of the McMansion. That shit stays in your memories. After I grew up into my early 20s, I did tell my family that I had an eating disorder at that time, and none of them helped me. I don't think they understand. Anyways, once I was put in fat camp, Amber became weirdly obsessed with what I was eating. Amber's weirdly obsessed with you, period, it feels like. Amber was always skinny with the perfect body, hair, clothes, and makeup. I recall this one time that really sticks out as a core memory. It was during summer break, and just me, Amber, and Mom were home. Mom bought some hot and ready pizza for lunch. Mom told me I was allowed 2 small slices because I had to stick to my fat camp diet. It was a group that met up 3 times a week to work out, meal prep, etc. Not a true overnight fat camp. I ate my 2 slices, but my eating disorder made me want more. I mean, I don't think I have an eating disorder, and I would want more than 2 slices of pizza. When I thought no one was looking, I went to the kitchen and grabbed 1 more slice. I was leaving the kitchen when Amber came in and saw what I was doing.
Leave me alone!
Amber immediately sounds the alarm.
Mom, OP is eating more when she's not supposed to.
I freak out and begin to tear up and ask why she would do that. Yeah, why are you doing all these things? Mom started hoofing it to the kitchen and I freaked out that I'd be hit for eating another slice. I threw the slice to the dogs below me. Mom reaches the kitchen just as the dogs grab the slice. No, I wasn't. I plead for my safety. I was giving a slice to the dogs. Amber glares at me and says to me,
No, she was going to eat it when she knows she's not allowed to.
There are 2 core memories for me that involve Amber instigating me for whatever reason when it came to shopping. One happened around the age of 7. I recall Mom took Amber, Emily, and I to Kmart. Remember that? Yeah, I definitely remember Kmart. Thanks for making me feel old. And she told the 2 of us that we could each pick out 1 toy that was under $10. Amber immediately picked out a Polly Pocket. I was having difficulty choosing between a Pokemon toy and a horse toy. Amber got fed up and grabbed a bag of these cheap, ugly plastic barnyard animals. The kind kind they sell at the dollar store. I hated those animals and told her I don't want them. Amber insisted and said I had to get them. I told her no. Amber then told our mom that I was just saying how I wanted barn animals for my barn toy. I didn't play with dolls, so instead of a dollhouse, I had a barn. I agreed and said I did want more barn animals, but not those ugly ones. Why is Amber so up your ass? Amber continued to insist I got those toys. The memory's fuzzy, but I remember Amber getting angry at me and telling me that these are cheap and it's what I get. I'm sorry, Amber, are you the one paying for it? I held onto a Pokemon toy and cried, saying I wanted the Pokemon toy. Eventually, our mom said it was either I get those ugly cheap toys or I get nothing. I ended up getting nothing.
What's going on?
Is your mom and sister the mom and sisters from Cinderella? And sitting in the van crying as Amber played with her new Polly Pocket toy. Why couldn't Amber just allow me to get the toy I wanted? Well, I mean, even if Amber is being an ass, your mom is at fault here mostly. Why does your mom just do what your sister says? Who's the adult here? And why would our mom side with her and not allow me the freedom of choice? It's extremely weird to me. Yeah, me too. Next shopping story happened at the age of 9. It was when we were in the middle of the move to the McMansion. Mom had taken us to Kmart to get essentials for the road trip. I needed new headphones for my CD player. Mom told me to go pick out a pair while she was in another aisle. Happily, I walked over to the section. I picked out a pair of cheap red headphones I really liked and was about to take them back to Mom when Amber stopped me. She found a pair of cheaper headphones and proclaimed I had to get those ones because they were like $2 cheaper. Oh my God. Again, Amber, mind your own fucking business. God, she's getting on my nerves. I don't even know her. I said I didn't want them. I wanted the ones I had in my hand. Mom comes over when she hears us arguing. Amber tells Mom that I was being ungrateful and picked out a pair of expensive headphones when supposedly I should know to always get the cheapest thing, whether I like it or not. I began crying as I was forced to put the red headphones back and the ugly cheaper headphones pushed into my hands by Amber. I recall being told it was those or nothing and sobbing with the ugly headphones in my hands as I followed them to the register. I ended up dropping them on the way and Amber freaked out and began to rant to our mother about how ungrateful I was being and how I shouldn't get new headphones, period. That was the earliest and biggest meltdown I remember having, because why couldn't Amber just let me have those red headphones? Why did it matter so much to her that she got what she wanted, but I was forced to take the cheapest scraps? And why did Mom allow that? I don't know who's worse here. Your mom or your sister? Let's get out of the 2000s and get into the 2010s. After high school, Amber joined the military, and for 4 years I got to witness just how proud that made my parents. They had stickers all over their cars, wore the t-shirts, posted about her all the time on social media. They constantly sent her care packages. They'd call her, visit her, desperately wanting to be part of her career. Every time she came home, they'd throw big welcome parties and have tons of photo shoots with her in her uniform. I saw that, and when I was 21, I really wanted that same love and adoration from our parents. I lost the weight, getting down to 130, which all of a sudden made my mom love me. Then I joined the military myself. Quickly after boot camp though, the weight loss was not sustainable for me and I started to gain it all back. When I went home for the first time after boot camp, there was no welcome party for me. Instead, my mom constantly told me to work out the entire time I was there and told me I needed to lose weight. I went to my first command so angry at her and so depressed about the fact that nothing I do is good enough or deserves the same level of praise. So hopefully you never do anything just to please them again and only do things to please yourself. What hurts the most is during my 5 years in the military extended contract, they never once called me. I had to be the one to call them. And even then when I called, it always seemed like it was a hassle that I called. They were never interested in my career, never asked about what I was doing or where I was. I've been out for a little over 3 years now and they still never asked me about my life. Wow, I don't even know what to say. I've come to terms with it, but damn, did it hurt when I realized it. I'll never tell my family that they were the reason for my suicide attempt. Not the military. I felt so alone and abandoned by my family when I joined. I went into a very, very dark place. Therapy helps. Mom has recently been trying to connect with me after I finally gained the courage to confront her about how she treated me in the past. And I've learned to forgive without ever receiving an apology or admittance to wrongdoing. I had to do that in order to let go and move on with my life. It hurts so bad that Amber has to continually bring up my horrible past, and my ignorant mom laughing along with her until she sees my face and realizes she's done fucked up all her progress with me. It's one of those things where I feel like they'll never change, you know? They're just putting on an act to keep you in their life, but that's just who they are. I could be wrong, but that's just, I don't know, it's how it feels with not just your case, but with a lot that I've seen. There's so many more stories I could tell, like the fact that I have trouble dating because of my mother and Amber telling me if a boy ever asks me out, it's a prank because no one would seriously ask me out. Or the times my mom would have my dad beat me until the spatula broke and would scream at me that because I broke it, I had to buy a new one. Or how Amber was allowed to wear mini skirts to church, but the time I wore a skirt above my knee, my mom cried at the altar about what a whore I am. LOL, and can't forget about the time Amber and I were outside digging holes in the ground. Since my parents were poor, we did a lot of our own plumbing. We were 13 and 15. We were arguing about something. I stood off to the side with my shovel in my hand, holding it like a staff. During this argument, she moved towards me to hit me. Amber loves punching boobs. What? And would punch mine and our older sister's boobs as hard as she could when she was mad at us. The hell? That's fucking weird. She proudly proclaims to this day, it's weird. She's weird. Yeah, that's weird. So I moved so she wouldn't hit me, and I let go of my shovel, which then the handle proceeded to bonk her in the head. She ran inside crying to our mother about it. When I went inside, Amber was wrapped up in my mom's arms, and my parents both proceeded to scream at me about how I was going to go to jail. You're gonna go to jail for bonking your sister in the head. Oh, okay. Meanwhile, I sobbed that it was an accident and I didn't want to go to jail. Oh, too bad. Off to jail you go. Yeah, fun times. And then they had to bring that story up again. I'm going to end this here. Thank you for taking the time to read this. I truly thank you for giving me an outlet and feeling like I have someone to talk to. I don't really have those deep friendships where I can talk about stuff like this. Thank you for reading my story, really, and I hope your channel continues to grow, and I wish you nothing but success and happiness. No, I wish you nothing but success and happiness. Since you love witches, I've attached a drawing of a hippie witch I drew right before Helene hit. If you'd like, I'd love to send you a print. If not, well, I hope you just enjoy my drawing. Thanks again, Best Witches. Best Witches! I did not do that on purpose, I swear. Best Witches! Look at this picture. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. You're an artist. Oh my goodness. It's gorgeous. I love it. My first piece of fan art. Oh, I'm gonna cry. Thank you so much. So that's the end of her story. Wow, I told you it was going to be a roller coaster. That was insane. I honestly don't know who's worse, your sister or your mom. I really don't know. Is your sister still totally up your ass like that? Oh man, and your mom just falling right in line behind what your sister says. I am really sorry that you went through all that. I hope you're doing well. I hope that you can get out of there eventually, because my God, I would be losing my mind if I had to live around these two freaking ding-dongs all day. We are sending you all the best. We hope you can get out soon. Stay strong. And again, thank you so much for the picture. It's beautiful. Well, thank you so much for watching, you guys. If you would like to watch the rest of our viewer submissions, I'll put the playlist up so that you can see what our other friends have sent in. Until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope that your magic is strong. I hope your symptoms are low. I love you guys. Bye.